The air inside the crowded school auditorium was thick with anticipation. Bright lights flickered overhead, and camera flashes went off from proud parents seated in the front rows. Laughter, whispers, and the soft tuning of instruments filled the background. But behind the heavy maroon curtain stood a barefoot boy named Junior, no older than 13, clutching an old, scratched microphone like it was his last hope in the world. His clothes were worn thin, his collar frayed, and his eyes, large and sorrowful, hid a storm of pain no child should ever carry. Junior hadn't come here for fame or applause. He had come to save his mother. 2 months ago, Mama had collapsed while washing clothes for their neighbor. Doctors at the government hospital diagnosed her with kidney failure. Since then, she'd been getting weaker each day. Her breaths were slower, her skin more ashen, and the hospital bills kept piling up. Junior tried everything, selling peanuts on the roadside, shining shoes at the bus park, even singing at nightclubs where children weren't welcome. Nothing was enough. When he saw the flyer for the Lagos Rising Talent Show stuck to a rusty pole near the slum's only borehole, his heart skipped. Winner takes home 1 million Nigerian naira, it said. That could pay for his mother's dialysis. That could save her life. Junior's voice, his only real gift, was something he inherited from the woman lying frail on their wooden bed back home. She used to hum Yoruba lullabies when he was small, even when her belly was empty. She used to say, if God gave us voices, it means we were meant to be heard. But what Junior didn't know, what no one knew, was that one of the judges behind the table of VIPs sipping bottled water and nodding at each act was a man with the same sharp cheekbones as him. A man with a hidden past. A man who didn't know the boy about to walk on stage was his own son. The host called Junior's name. He stepped forward, swallowed his fear, and walked into the blinding lights. His bare feet whispered against the wooden floor. The audience quieted. Some chuckled at his tattered clothes. Others whispered. But Junior lifted his chin, closed his eyes, and began to sing. The first note floated like smoke. Then another. His voice, raw and haunting, filled every corner of the hall. He sang a song about mothers, about hunger and strength, about love that never asks for anything in return. The lyrics weren't perfect. But his pain was. It gripped hearts and silenced sneers. From the judges' panel, a man with graying temples sat frozen. His name was Mr. Tand. A successful music producer with a clean smile and a heavy conscience. Something in the boy's voice, the phrasing, the ache, sent a cold chill down his spine. He leaned forward, brows furrowed. Something about this boy felt familiar, painfully so. But Junior didn't notice. He just kept singing, singing for his mother. Singing to live. As the final note hung in the air like a prayer, silence swept across the auditorium. For a moment, no one moved. Even the loudest students, the snickering parents, the impatient judges, everyone was stunned into stillness. Then, slowly, a few claps emerged from the back. Then more. Soon the entire hall erupted into thunderous applause. Junior blinked, uncertain. He wasn't used to praise. Not like this. He stepped back, bowed slightly, and turned to leave the stage, his heart pounding not from pride, but from relief. Maybe, just maybe, he'd done enough to win. Enough to give his mother one more chance. Behind the judging table, Mr. Tan sat, eyes locked on the boy's face. The raw emotion in that voice had clawed something buried deep in his soul. Something he had locked away 13 years ago. He remembered her then. A woman from his past, the girl really named Adiz. Beautiful. Fierce. From a poor fishing village along the Benue River. He had loved her once, before he chose ambition over responsibility. Before he left for Lagos with nothing but a keyboard and a lie. He never knew she was pregnant. Or maybe he had known, deep down, and didn't want to face it. Now, looking at this barefoot boy with eyes full of purpose, he wasn't so sure anymore. Backstage, Junior found a corner and crouched beside his battered school bag. He didn't care about the cameras or who won next. All he wanted was to get home before his mother woke. She thought he was helping a neighbor sell mangoes today. He didn't want her worrying. But he knew she'd be proud if only she could have seen. Minutes passed. Then an usher tapped his shoulder gently. "The head judge wants to see you," she said. Junior hesitated. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, child," she smiled. "He just wants to talk." Junior stood awkwardly in front of Mr. Tand, who had stepped away from the judge's table and was now seated alone in a quiet room behind the auditorium. His rich suit contrasted starkly with Junior's threadbare shirt, but their eyes mirrored something unspoken. Mr. Tand studied the boy. "What's your name, son?" "Junior," he replied, voice low. "Your full name?" "Junior Adiz Okafor." The room fell silent again. Mr. Tand's throat tightened. "Adiz." His heart pounded as old memories surfaced, of promises broken, letters never written, and guilt ignored. He had always wondered what became of her. But this boy standing in front of him, was she raising him alone all these years? "Your song, was it for your mother?" Junior nodded. "She's very sick. I need the prize money for her treatment. Please, even if I don't win, can you tell them not to forget her? She's all I have." Mr. Tand looked away, eyes glistening. Shame burned in his chest. All his success, all his years in the spotlight, it meant nothing now. He had turned his back on the one woman who truly loved him and unknowingly abandoned his own flesh and blood. "You remind me of someone I once knew," he said quietly. "She would be proud of you." Junior looked confused, but polite. "Thank you, sir." As the boy turned to leave, Mr. Tand called out, "Wait." He stood, reached into his coat, and pulled out a small photo, one he'd always kept, though he'd never admitted why. It was old, faded, but the face was unmistakable. Adiz, smiling on a canoe, belly barely beginning to show. Junior stared. His eyes widened. "That's my mother." Tan swallowed hard. "She was once everything to me. And I was a coward." Junior's lips parted, the truth clicking into place. "Are you?" Tand nodded slowly. "Yes. I'm your father." Silence once again stretched thin between them, heavy with years lost. "Why didn't you come for us?" Junior's voice cracked, not angry, just tired. "I didn't know," Tand said, stepping closer. "But I do now. And I don't want to waste another day." Junior didn't speak. He looked down, overwhelmed. Then, quietly, he said, "She doesn't know I came here today. I only wanted to help her." "You already have," Tand whispered. "You helped both of us." That night, Junior was declared the winner of the talent show. The audience cheered, not knowing the real victory wasn't the trophy in his hands, but the truth he had uncovered. The next morning, Mr. Tan showed up at a small shack on the outskirts of the slums. When Adiz opened the door and saw him standing there, she nearly collapsed, not from shock, but from a heartbreak being mended. Sometimes, life doesn't give you second chances. But sometimes, it gives you a voice loud enough to be heard, loud enough to call the past home.